Hi everybody, welcome to today's van build video. This is Vanessa with Vanessa's Van Life Journey. I am going to show you how I built this pull-out drawer, this pull-out sofa bed, or pull-out chair, or pull-out bed, whatever you want to call it. This is mainly going to serve a purpose for me for a sofa, a day bed when I have my van open and I want to just lounge, or when I'm in the inside of the van and I want to pull out the seat farther toward the sink or the kitchen area to have additional seating toward that area. So that's what I'm going to be demonstrating in this video. This is the finished product. Also, if you want to learn how to build the box with the pull-out drawer, I do have that in other videos on the channel. And if you want to know how to build the bulkhead door, the partition wall from the front of the van, and also the DIY painting that I have there, you can check out the playlist on the van build, and I have all those videos in the playlist. So yes, this pull-out sofa bed has several features. It has the bed portion that pulls out, and then it has the drawer portion that pulls out, and that's going to be storage in there as well. The lid lifts up. I forgot to show you guys that the lid lifts up, and you can access everything that you have on the inside of there. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to put in this storage box, but I am happy that I have this extra storage. So let's get to the video. Before I get into this DIY, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and hit all so you'll be notified each and every time I upload a video. It would help me out a lot. So first of all, I am going to start with the face plate that's going to be on the outer portion of the box. And so I have already cut out pretty much the square portion of it, and now I'm going in a circular motion with my jigsaw to cut around the curvatures. And by the way, you guys, all of this build is going to be with hand saws. I use hand saws. I use my circular saw and my jigsaw, a nail gun, screwdriver, and a countersink screw is pretty much all I used for this build. And also, of course, some paint brushes and some rollers. And I just used the little cheap paint brushes that I got from the 99-cents only store. And as you can see here, I'm going over the other side and I'm doing the same thing. And I'm just going to cut this out until I get the whole piece cut out. And as you can see, I'm doing this with my circular saw. If you want a tutorial on how to use the saw to do a square cut out, I also have a video on the channel on how to do that. I will try to link all the videos and the tutorials in the description box below. And another key component for me is, you guys, I love to give each piece that I'm putting in the van a good sand. I mean, I sand for a very long time, making sure I don't have any splinters, making sure all of my edges are curved, making sure the inside of it is smoothed out. I really take my time with sanding, and I suggest that you guys do the same. The sanding is really important, and it's gonna make the finished product look so much better. And I'm getting better at The woodworking, you guys, I am not a professional. I didn't go to school and take any woodworking classes. This is something that I'm just doing on my own. And half the stuff that you see me doing in this van bill, I did not do that in my other van bill treasure because number one, I didn't have all the tools. And number two, I didn't have the skill set yet. So every van bill or every project that you do, you're going to add to your skill set. So you guys, I have all the pieces already cut out, and I do have a previous video showing you how I cut the top of the pullouts out of one piece of wood. So this consists of 5 pieces, you guys. The top part that is going to be the pullout part. I have 2 pieces of wood at the bottom part, and I also have another piece of wood in the front, and I have the face plate in the front. So that is 5 essential pieces of wood that you're going to need, and I'll show you guys that in a little bit. So as I stated, you guys, the piece of wood at the top that is going to be your pull-out bed, that's one piece of wood that you're actually going to cut. And then you're going to have 2 pieces of wood underneath that one that you're going to screw that piece down to. And the one that's in front of it is going to be the one that's going to do the sliding back and forth. So you're going to screw the front piece of wood into that one and the back piece of wood into the one in the back. So that makes 3 pieces of wood altogether. You might consider that 4 pieces of wood if you're counting the piece of wood that you cut and did the zigzag pattern in. I'm considering that 1 piece of wood because I cut that out of 1 piece of wood. And the other pieces of wood underneath are scrap pieces of wood, you guys. That's why I say you always save your scrap. And so then I have underneath there as well, I have a wider piece of wood in the front that I'm going to screw down the legs of the back portion to. So I'm going to attach that so the whole thing will be screwed down. It's going to be screwed down to that back piece of wood right there that I'm touching. And it's also going to be screwed down to the front piece of wood. And then the front part that's going to pull out is going to be attached to the sliding part. And it's going to be attached to the faceplate leg that I am going to make. Now, in reference to the faceplate, it could be a solid piece of wood or it could be a cutout piece of wood the way that I did it to show some design aspect. But the way that you build this is going to be totally up to you. And I do think that I'm going to build another one on the other side where my batteries are. So you guys stay tuned for that. And you can build this whatever length, whatever width that you want it to. So that front back piece of wood is going to screw down to that piece of wood there that I had underneath. And all of those woods, the front part of that wood is going to screw down into the frame of my box. So that way it's not going to move and it's not going to go anywhere. So you want to make sure you screw the wood that's going to be underneath. You want to make sure you screw that wood down first and attach that to your box. And then the sliding portion, you're going to screw that to it afterwards. If you guys have any questions about the configuration, you can refer back to the previous videos. And if you still have questions after that, please leave your questions in the comments bar below and I will try to answer them when I get a chance. So yeah, that's pretty much the 5 basic things that you're going to need to build the pull out sofa. And of course, you're going to need your box, whatever box, whether that be your battery box or whether that be a pull-out box the way that I have here. You're going to essentially need some type of box to be able to do the pull-out bed on. So now, you guys, that faceplate that I just pulled out from underneath the pull-out bed, I am going to take my measurements so I can do a cutout on that faceplate. I already have a faceplate that's attached to the box. I want this faceplate to match that faceplate, and it's going to be the support for my pull-out sofa or chair or bed or whatever you want to call it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my measurements all the way around 2 inches all the way around. I actually should have did 3 inches from the top because I didn't make accommodations for the extra space that I was going to have for the wood underneath. And I only did 2 inches all the way around. And I should have did 3 inches up at the top. But you guys won't even notice it, even though, you know, I wish I would have took 3 inches off the top. If I don't tell you guys, you won't even notice it. But that's just something that hindsight is 2020. So I'm going to go all the way around the box, and I'm going to do 2 inches from the side of it. And that's going to give me a square. And then I'm going to go 17.5 inches from each side, from right to left. And that's going to give me my portion in the middle that I'm not going to cut out. So finish watching and see if you guys can understand exactly what I'm saying. So to get my rounded corners, you guys, I am going to use this tape. You can use anything round on the corners. You can use a can, a paint, or just anything rounded to get that rounded effect on the edge. Okay, you guys, so here is the finished product of my face piece that I'm going to cut out. You can see my rounded edges. You can see the middle part that I'm not going to cut out, which is 17 inches from each end, right to left, and 2 inches from the top, 2 inches from the bottom, and 2 inches from the side. That is going to give me a pattern of what I'm going to cut out with my circular saw and my jigsaw. So you kind of have to imagine what it is you're building and what features you want it to have, and then you can go from there to cut it out. So here I go with my circular saw, and I'm doing the cutout. Again, if you want to learn this technique on how to cut the wood out with a circular saw, then you can watch my previous videos. I do a full video on explaining to you guys exactly how I do that. And I will try to link all the videos that refer to making this in the description box below, including making the box with the pull-out drawer if you guys want to see that as well. So now that I've gotten the cut out on both pieces, you guys, as I stated, sanding is your friend. You must sand until you get all the rough edges off, until you polish the wood, until you just make the wood look like a piece of art where you didn't even have to paint it if you didn't want to. So here I am, you guys, and I have painted the wood, and I'm putting 2 coats on each side of the wood. Now, first off, I prime each one of my pieces of wood on both sides with 2 coats of primer on each side. So that is just what I am doing in my van build, you guys. Each and every piece of wood that I have in my van has been primed on each side 2 times. and then painted on each side 2 times, including my furring strips in my wall. Everything in my van has been primed. So that's just what I want to do. And so now we have the pull-out parts over to the side. They've already been sanded, and now I am going to prime them as well and paint them as well. And here I screwed down the base of the box to the van. So you want to make sure that you do screw your box down because when that drawer pulls out, then the box needs to be secured to the van. So I used 2 different size screws to make sure it went all the way through the flooring of the van. And as you can see, I'm sitting on it, and girl, it is strong. It's holding me, it's not moving, and it's not lifting up out of the van because it's screwed down to the floor of the van. You guys, this is me acting silly. I hope you can't hear what I said because girl, y'all know I'm crazy. So here are all the pieces. Everything is painted. I touched up some of the other pieces that I had painted earlier, and I got everything ready to go. And I'm going to take these 2 pieces in the van. Those are going to be the 2 pieces that are going to be towards the back. As I stated, one is going to be screwed down to the back portion and to those little slats that you see. I'm going to screw that down. And I have the front piece. The front piece and the back piece is going to be screwed down. The piece in the middle is going to be free flowing, and it's going to be screwed down to the sliding piece, but you're not going to screw that down to the box at all. Only the back piece and the front piece are going to be screwed down to the back because you don't want the piece that's attached to that to move at all. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. The back piece and the front piece are going to be screwed down to my box on the little white slats. And the middle piece is not going to be screwed down to the box. It's going to actually be screwed down to the sliding piece. So that way the sliding piece can move back and forth freely and it won't come out. So this is just an example of that before I actually screw it down. So it will pull out and the middle piece will slide with that once I pull everything out. So now that I've explained everything to you guys, I'm getting ready to screw it in. You can make some pilot holes for the screws for the back and the front if you want to, or some countersink holes. So that way when you screw your wood in, you could fill it and you can make countersink holes as well, and you could cover that up. So what I'm doing right now is I'm checking the thickness of my wood, and I'm trying to see what screws I'm going to use because I don't want my screws to go through the bottom and screw in to the box top. So I'm going to end up using the gold screws that I found. And when you're doing a van build, you guys, make sure you have different types of screws because you're definitely going to need different size screws for different projects. Now that I've selected the screw size, I'm going to screw the back piece in as I stated, you guys, and I'm going to look at that at the bottom and make sure that screw is not poking through and it's not going to interfere with anything that I have going on with the box. So I'm going to screw 2 screws into the white portion, those white slats that are going across. That's what I'm screwing that back piece into. So that is going to give support to that piece of wood. It's resting on the back portion, and it's also resting on the slats and screwed into the slats. So that's what I'm doing there. And then now you can see I am screwing the front piece in. And so I can also go back and do some countersink holes if I do not want these screws to show. I don't know if I end up doing that or not. If I didn't, I may go back and do some countersink holes. So now that I got the front part screwed in and I got the back portion screwed in, I am going to screw the back part of the sliding bed to those two pieces of wood that I've just screwed in. But I have my whole face frame on there together. I have the whole thing together so I can make sure I have everything aligned perfectly. And so before I get ready to screw this in, I'm definitely going to do some countersink holes. That's what I'm doing here. I'm doing countersink holes, and I also want those holes to kind of be in alignment with the three boards because I want my screws. I'm using some longer screws now, and I want my screws to go all the way through all three pieces of wood. So in some places, I'm going to use a shorter screw because it's going through two pieces of wood. And then in some places, I'm going to use a longer screw because it's going through three pieces of wood. The front part, I'm using the shorter screws, the gold screws, because it's only going through two pieces of wood. And the back part, in some areas, I'm going to use the longer screws because it's going to go through three pieces of wood. Now, this is the piece of wood that you don't want to move. Once you get a couple of screws in, then you can remove the other sliding part so you can go ahead and screw everything in. Now you can see that I have my countersink holes all the way and everything. The back part of the sliding bed is actually screwed in, and then I screwed the front part to the wood. And now and it's a little tight, you guys, because I have 2 coats of paint, 2 coats of primer on each piece of wood, and 2 coats of paint on each piece of wood on each side. So now I have the faceplate that you guys seen me cut out, and that's going to be considered my pull out leg. And now I'm going to pull out the pull out portion just a little bit so I can nail this down. And then I'm also going to screw it down and put some countersink holes and screw it down so I can go back over that and cover that with some wood filler. And that is going to complete this. Once I do that, that's going to complete the build of this. The only other thing that I need to do is add a cover, a door to the pull-out drawer. I just need to add a door on there, and that's the only other thing I need to do. So I'm nailing down the faceplate right now, going with some nails, and it wasn't sturdy enough, so you want to make sure you do go back after you nail it together just so it won't move. You want to make sure you do go back, countersink some holes, and put some screws in it. So I'm just testing it out and making sure it'll hold me and making sure it's sturdy enough. And, then I did realize that I do need to put some screws in there as well. So I did go back and put screws in it. Everything is screwed in. Countersink holes are in everything, you guys. And now all I have to do is go back and fill those holes with some wood filler, sand them a little bit, and paint them. I hope this DIY project was helpful to you guys. It wasn't easy. I'm not going to tell you it was easy, but then at the same time, it kind of was easy. And it should be easier for you because I'm showing you everything. I had to figure out a lot of this out on my own, you guys. So hopefully this video explains it well to you, where you can build you a bed, a sofa, or a pull-out chair. I'm going to be building several more of these in the van. I'm going to have one over my pull-out toilet, so I could have a chair over the pull-out toilet in that area anytime I want to pull anything out. So if you guys just want a smaller one or you want a longer one, I'm going to be building a longer one, I think, over the battery box So stay tuned for that. You could build this any size you want it to be. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Don't forget to check the description box below for the other videos that are in reference to building the box and building the zigzag and cutting out the zigzag pattern. Okay, you guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks for watching. Bye now.